You're listening to the Rocketeer Minute's 80th anniversary. Once again, here's Hal Bryant, Jim O'Kane, and Billy Campbell.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Rocketeer Minute, where each and every day, usually Monday through Friday, we've been going over the 1991 Joe Johnston-directed feature, The Rocketeer Minute. But this is going to be a little bit different, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. I am one of your hosts, Jim O'Kane of TVDads.com.
And I'm Hal Bryant, an airplane nerd from the Experimental Aircraft Association here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And Jim, what a kick it is to be back. We're back. We're doing some special episodes, and we've got not only a beloved returning guest in the form of Mr. Billy Campbell. We have a guest that we had hoped to work with several times during the original run of the show. Jim, why don't you tell us who's with us?
Well, I am very pleased and honored that we have Skeets himself, the great Willam Sanderson, has joined us on the Rocketeer Minute microphones. And Willam, thank you so much for being on our show. This is quite an honor.
Thank you, and thank you for the compliment. Honored to be here.
It's our pleasure, and Billy, it sounds like you have a little company there with you. Who's that we're hearing?
I do. I've got 7 months old Alf on my knee, and he's following in the footsteps of his brother, who has already been a guest on the podcast.
That's right.
And as well as serving as my technical director. And it looks like Alf wants to do an adjustment on the microphone here. But, I'm going to pass Alf off to his mom. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alf.
Willam, it's a thrill for me to hear your voice again after all these years.
Well, back at you, and I just try not to suck up too much. You know?
Well, that'll go both ways.
We were so happy to talk about this. We watched, as listeners to the show knows, we've been looking at this movie every minute. And Willam, you are actually the first of all the characters that we have on the show. You were the first one to appear when you're pushing that big yellow GB plane out onto the runway.
It was a thrill to be there, and the sets and the location. The short time I was there, but I can't stop self-deprecating. I had this Instagram, and one of the viewers said, "Were you an extra or part of the crew?" So don't let me. But it was fun, and I love the jacket that the costumer gave me. I wish I could have kept it, but I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Oh, you should have said something to me. I would have made it happen.
And thank you for that photo we got. You know, stars of shows don't have time to accommodate everybody, and it's a great memory for me.
I was thinking you should have gotten some stuntman's pay for some of the scenes. There's the one scene when the GB does the low pass across the dirt runway, and from the look on in the camera, it looked like you were just right off the right wing as it passed by at 100 miles an hour.
Well, I don't know. I used to volunteer for anything, thinking I was some kind of macho actor, but. I don't recall that, but I do recall that poor Jimmy Medeiros had the accident, the stuntman.
Yeah.
So I stick to acting.
Yeah. It was that was a difficult shoot. There were a lot of very dangerous. I mean, they try to be as safe as possible, but it's I know there were a couple of big tragedies on the show while filming. You also, in the whole movie, I was surprised. We were trying to figure out if there was another line, but the only line that you had for the whole movie was that you didn't remember any liquor stores at the front.
Oh, well, that's one more than I had in The Client. There's the friend of mine, longtime friend of mine, college roommate, he said, "Damn, Sanderson, you had the best accent for The Client with Tommy Lee and Susan Sarandon, and they didn't let you talk." So I digress.
There is no aggression on this show, so digress all you want.
That's right.
Well, can I ask Billy a question? Did
Please.
did the military school help you learn discipline the way you carried yourself on the movie?
Oh my Lord, no, William.
No?
I utterly rejected everything I learned all the 6 years of my time in the military school. I wanted to forget it as quickly as possible.
I'm sorry to hear that, but it's still there if you need it.
It is, and I don't mean to paint the whole thing with one brush. I mean, it was obviously not 100% a negative memory for me. There was a lot of good about it.
Yeah.
But,
Rugby? No rugby. No rugby.
rugby
right?
for sure. Rugby is
Well,
done,
that's got to be decent.
well.
memory.
That's done more for me in my life than many things.
Man,
I
it
can
sounded
imagine.
like I read real quickly. I don't do it long if it's not about me, but it sounded like you played professionally or something.
No, certainly
No?
not. And in fact, the game was not nowhere in the world was it professional for most of the time I was playing.
Wow.
Even the games they played in front of 80,000 people were played by strictly amateur
Wow.
players.
Well,
So-
you got two future rugby players right here, right?
Yes, I do. I do. And man, they're tougher than I am now at their age than I ever was when I was playing.
How wonderful.
Yeah. And you, William, I want to know where are you living and how the heck have you been?
I've been I'm fine. I'm in Pennsylvania, where my wife's relatives are, and
Oh, okay.
where she was born.
Yeah.
My wife has always tried to do the right thing, and she has some elderly relatives, even older
Yeah.
than I, and she wants to help, and
Oh,
I
that's
really
lovely.
admire that. You
Yeah.
know, and I have to get out of this me, my, and think of us. It's tough spending your life thinking about yourself and where's the next movie.
Yeah.
But the people are great here, and I should thank Sharon because she did all this setting up with you. I'm technically challenged.
well, join the gang. I'm just about as technically challenged as anyone I can imagine. Jim and Hal can attest to that.
Well, thank you both.
Well, it's been a pleasure. When we first started this show many moons ago, we were thinking, well, maybe we'll get a couple of people to listen in, and hopefully somebody will remember the Rocketeer. And then I've told the story before, but 2:00 in the morning one day, I got a message on Twitter saying, "Love your show. I'm sitting here eating oatmeal and remembering everything. Can I be on? Signed Billy Campbell." And
Wow.
I started doing a war dance in the middle of my bedroom at 2 in the morning. Woke my wife up and said, "It's Billy." So,
And then he called me and woke me up, and I was doing the same dance here. So I think it's safe to say that Billy Campbell's probably our biggest fan. I don't like to brag, but Billy's a pretty good admirer of my work, certainly.
Big compliment.
and from this whole show, I thought, oh, I love the movie, and I know Hal loved the movie, but I didn't realize how many fans there are of the Rocketeer. I mean, there are so many people out there that we hear from. They call themselves Finheads, and the excitement about talking after all these years about this great movie that so many people loved and admired, all the characters, the great, you guys made this movie. You made the characters seemed real, and just little things. The one little scene where there's the fight in the diner, and William, you just give the look to Billy on the what to do next in the fight, and it just that little bit of action. That's the heart of acting right there.
What was the look? Fear? Oh, I got a question that's, I think, related about the scene or all the scenes. I wonder what Billy thought about Joe Johnston. I thought he was a benevolent man. I once asked him, "Can I do something in this scene?" He basically said no. And he came around a few minutes later and said, "Now you can do so and so." And it doesn't take much for me to admire them, but a smile or whatever. I wondered how it was for Billy, because he had so much with Joe.
I tell you, William, I liked him, and I have to say that he was not, he wasn't hands-on up to his elbows with the acting department. He didn't give a lot of direction, which I think at first I was a little worried.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but then I came to realize that, if he's not given direction, it means he's okay with what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly, and it showed at the end of the film, your performance.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and if they tell you too much, that's worrisome too. But I didn't mean to put you on the spot. But.
No, not at all. I liked him, and I mean, but I know that some people found him not off-putting, but some people found him what do you call
distant.
Just distant. Yeah, exactly. And what I came to realize is that, he came from the special effects world, of course, and so that's the thrust of his excitement is for the images and the effects and so forth. And I came to sort of feel like he thought of us as one of the effects in a way. And
well, we were us, not the star, though.
well, no, us too, I think, so I remember Jennifer. I remember Jennifer being a little bit, in fact, I think quite a bit early on, quite a bit more insecure than I was, even though this was by no means her first movie, as it was mine. But then we kind of figured out together. That really, if he wasn't saying something to you, it was really kind of equivalent to approval.
Well, she's. I suspect she's very intelligent, aside from being beautiful, and you gave each other dignity, so to speak. But I could. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm glad to hear your viewpoint of the director.
Yeah. Well, I really ended up liking him. I was quite fond of him, and got nothing bad to say about him. That's for sure.
Please don't ask me what I think about any director.
No. Who? I tell you what I want to ask about. Even though we're ostensibly talking about the Rocketeer.
Oh my God! Oh my gosh! Yeah, I have that tendency. Excuse me. Yes, Billy.
I want to talk about Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Well.
And yeah, I'll
try to make it short.
Give us something juicy on Blade Runner.
I respected his directing. But he once whispered in my ear, I'm pretty naive and I like to escape. He said, this is a totally innocent man. So that was fun direction, to not worry whether Rutger was upstaging Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
But he also, years later, called it an adult cartoon. And I said, that's why I got it. That's why I got it. But he's kind of a visionary,
Yeah.
So it was a big thrill. But Rocketeer was a big thrill for me. I'd just come off a series and was happy to be working at all.
Yeah.
You came straight off of Newhart, didn't you, William?
Yeah.
Right into the Rocketeer.
And, you wonder if you'll ever get back in movies. And there is a stigma. Didn't hurt Tom Hanks, but, I don't know if you want to hire him. William was on a series, blah, blah, blah. Ridley Scott's director said they hire me to find people. Ridley hires me to find people that weren't on a series. Then back to Billy. Billy did a lot of good
What,
series.
they said that?
Dynasty.
She actually said? The casting director said that to you?
Yeah, he passed away. Rest his soul. But I love everybody, Billy.
Well, we're birds of a feather there, William.
Very much among friends. So, William, on Newhart, you played, of course, Larry, and you had two brothers named Daryl. And talk about a character. I don't know how anybody shows up on a comedy and steals the show from Bob Newhart, of all people.
Well, but
you did it.
That frightens me, that word. But the John Volstad, who was born in Norway, and Tony Pappenfuss were the brothers, and they were just great gentlemen and put up with my gargoyles of insecurity, and it was a thrill. But what does it have to do with Rocketeer? I'm saying that with a smile. I'm saying that with a smile.
Sure. Now, do you remember booking the Rocketeer? I mean, do you remember the audition? Or
Oh,
how'd that come about?
I think I said to my wife, it's ingrained. I must have auditioned 3 times. She said 2. So, it's Disney. And so I was a little, not peeved, but, hey, I got in it, and some people didn't, so I'm glad. But I liked it. Liked the process. I mean, the actors, Ed Lauder and Alan Arkin, and just across the board.
Good fun, folks. That's for sure.
I would have liked to have had Arkin's role, but...
Yeah, wouldn't...
And Billy's. No, I'm sorry. It was, and we had this famous costumer. What was her name? Straker or something? I don't know.
Oh, Marilyn Vance. Marilyn Vance.
Last name, yeah.
Straker, I think.
She's kind of legend herself. But
yeah.
Anyway, it was all good, no bad.
Yeah. You guys look like you stepped off of the Saturday Evening Post covers from the '30s when that everybody was dressed up to the nines, just perfect.
Yeah, the costuming was terrific, and the sets and the scenery. I think that was one of my favorite sets in the whole film.
Oh yeah,
William,
yeah.
that Bulldog Cafe set in the middle of the orange grove there.
And Dave Stevens was a nice man,
Wasn't he though?
Yeah. But there was something it flew out of my mind as usual. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Can I remind you of one thing that Don Pugsley? I didn't know that Don was in the cafe sitting next to me. Was a retired sergeant major, Green Beret, 87 jumps out of planes, military planes, and he got a tattoo of the plane he showed me on his thigh, and it wrapped all the way around his leg. And
Did he really?
No. Yeah, he was. You talk about thrilled to be there. He was thrilled. He's a paramedic in his real life, but tough guy.
What did Don? Was he in active duty somewhere?
I believe he still had a day job called about paramedic, but he's Vietnam, I believe.
Okay.
And I didn't. He just was kind of gung ho and not a whiner like me. But I was in the Army a couple years. In fact, the infantry. But so much for that.
Yeah.
He was fun. When your sidekick's not fun, look out.
Oh, that can be miserable.
So, and of course, Don Pugsley playing the part of Goose.
Thank you.
As you said,
Thank
William
you.
sitting
Thank
there.
you. I should have said that.
Goose Gander.
Goose Gander. What a great name.
Yeah.
And you had Margot Martindale across the
that's
across the counter from
right.
you.
Oh, Margot, I love her to death now. May I quote her?
Sure, please.
She said, we were talking about TV, and are you there, Sharon? If I say this wrong, let me know. She said, they said, you're on a TV series. And Margot said, well, they don't really hire good people, do they? And I think I was quiet, but I should have said, of course not. But she later won probably an Emmy Award for Justified, and she's a wonderful actress.
She is really.
She
And William, I'm firmly convinced she had her tongue completely in her cheek when she said that.
I'm sorry, would you say that again? I drifted. I was feeling guilty. What did you Gossip. Billy, please help me talk and shut me up. Everything's fact based on hearsay. What the heck?
That's right. There's no fake news on this show. This is the real thing. Hard hitting.
Yeah.
That's all right.
But I am talking too much. I'd love to hear what was
William,
some of the most. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask if you still had your finger in your toe in the business.
You asked me at the right time. I got a job lined up in Hollywood now. Is that the answer? Yeah. But I'm dragging 70, so will I make it? It's called Deadwood, and they're making a 2-hour movie. And
is it the movie of the show?
Yeah. They've been talking about it 10 or 12 years.
Sure, yeah.
But literally, I until I get there, I'm concerned something will happen to knock it out. But they have everybody lined up except we lost Powers Booth, who passed away, a wonderful actor, and a sidekick of mine that I loved. I had somebody I could berate. He was a bigger buffoon than I was, and so. But it's a gift from God. They're all gifts from God, and we'll see if I survive it. Thank you for asking, Billy.
But were you in the original series?
Yeah, I actually did every show, and there was only 2 actors in. Sometimes less, and sometimes a little more. But the great creator of the show, David Milch, gave me a nickname, the Imp of the Perverse. It's from Edgar Allan Poe's story, if you ever want to read it. But Billy, what are you doing? Are you shooting in Nova Scotia now?
No, I'm just here visiting, and I have a bunch of friends here in Nova Scotia, and a boat, a schooner.
Oh, great!
And so I'm here visiting friends and messing about in boats. And
how wonderful! And how old's the children? 6 months and what?
The young boy is 7 months, and Anton, the older boy, just turned 4.
I bet he loves it there. But do you have time to paint, or are you still painting? Or
I do a little drawing, and I don't have a lot of time to paint right now. But we just made a studio back on the farm in Norway. So,
how wonderful!
So we're hoping to get some time, and my wife is architect, but she really likes to. Paint and draw as well, so we're hoping to carve out, especially when the younger boy gets into what they call Barnehagen, which is kindergarten. Then we'll have some hours in the day.
Wonderful.
Until then, I'm doing a show in Ontario, which is sort of a detective show, and it's
a series.
A series.
Oh, yeah.
But it's
congratulations.
Thank you, but I think we're getting ready to do the final season, the 4th season, sometime in January.
Wow!
And then I'm hoping to just work across the ocean and not have to come back to North America after that.
Oh well, and if they make another Rocketeer, you would do it, right?
Well, I of course I would do it, but I think the chances are virtually nil that they won't have a newer, younger Rocketeer.
Well, they can't have the movie without you, I hope. But anyway,
think they can, and and I have a hunch they will. I think they're gonna. It's conceivable that I could get a little cameo or something like that. But I think they are going to do not a reboot. But the rumors I've heard is they're going to do a kind of a sequel, but not me as the Rocketeer, with a young girl as the Rocketeer, and she somehow finds the rocket pack, and
I'm not surprised. And
it's some years later, like 6 or 8 years later.
Yeah.
And so, it's conceivable that I would have a cameo or something, but I haven't heard anything from anyone. So.
Well, there's so much word of mouth and stuff. Hasn't it grown with a big following? This one, and it makes sense. I hope they do it. What's the name of the series you're doing now? Forgive me.
It's called Cardinal.
Cardinal,
like the bird.
Yeah.
But that's the guy's name, the detective's name, and it's really. The first season of Cardinal is one of the better things I've ever been associated with, and I'm really, really happy with the show.
And
But,
fun. It's fun, right?
Yeah, it's good fun. But we want it to be over.
I kind of understand,
Yeah.
but I'll keep my fingers crossed that it goes the way you want it to.
Thank you, William. Thank you.
You're probably a producer, so
No, I'm sure not.
you should be.
No, but we're really, really happy with it. It's been a really interesting job, one of the better ones in my life. Though
wonderful.
nothing compares with the Rocketeer. I'll tell you that. That was just an enormous, joyous rush of an experience that I can't imagine will ever be equaled in my life.
Yeah, and it was great fun for me, notwithstanding my input.
Wow. Well, I would love to talk some more about this. So if we can come back tomorrow and discuss, we've got other questions, and we're also would like to talk a little bit about gods and generals, if you can.
Oh, Billy, yes, he was a general, right? I didn't.
And so were you,
Yeah,
if my research is correct.
yeah, but I was, but I have some memories, but tomorrow, Sharon.
Let's come back to tomorrow's show. So let me if folks could join us here tomorrow. Of course, we're always available online at rocketeerminute.com. You can catch up on all the previous episodes. If you missed any of them, that's a place to tune in. On social media, you can find us on Facebook at the Rocketeer Minute Bulldog Cafe, and on Twitter at Rocketeer Minute. But join us here tomorrow next time. Hal, I'll let you lead us out.
All right. So until next time, over and out.
Over and out.
Over now.
Go get him, kid.